I hope you enjoy it. If you think it might offend you, or if you think you won't enjoy it, just don't go and see it, and then you won't have to complain to me afterwards about it, that I've scared you or I've ruined your childhood. Just don't go and see it.
Felicitarte por todo lo que has hecho últimamente. Vamos a hablar sobre tu último trabajo, pero yo quisiera comenzar sobre una producción que es una serie de TV que es de Londres, que se llama, bueno, El Año del Conejo. Entonces, yo quiero preguntarte sobre cómo ves la actualidad del cine británico, o sea, de la televisión. ¿Qué es lo que destaca esta serie a las demás?
Okay, we are going early in your career with your participation in Year of the Rabbit. And the question is, looking back to this production, what do you think that this show got different or interesting between all the TV shows that got Britain?
So, Year of the Rabbit, that was a great show. Matt Berry is just naturally a really, really funny guy. It's there's a certain type of, I don't know, sort of like a British humour, and that's personified by people like Matt Berry. There wasn't anything else like that at the time. We get every few years in England, in the UK, we get a kind of comedy that really like cuts to the quick, if you like, and that was one of them. It was great to work on. Unfortunately, it didn't come back for another season, but it was different to anything else at the time. As in, everything that Matt Berry does always is it's always over there, you know. Everything else is there.
El elemento acá es Matt Berry. Es un cómico muy distinto al resto de cómicos que uno ve allá en Gran Bretaña, pero pues sí, lamentablemente este programa no fue llamado para una temporada, pero es
Sí.
ese elemento.
Lo siento mucho porque esa serie tenía que darse mucho más, pero bueno. Hay otra serie que es mucho antes de esa que se llama Speedman. Es sobre cómo el ser humano puede tener la adrenalina en 100 todo el tiempo. Entonces es algo que yo quisiera saber sobre este personaje de Charles Taylor. ¿Qué podemos aprender de él?
What can we learn from Charles Taylor from Speedman?
So Charles Taylor, yeah. Have you seen that? Did you see that? It was a guy that started the Discovery Channel, who then started another channel which was just documentaries, and I played Charles Taylor. He was the guy that invented the engine that the Wright brothers used in their first aircraft. That when he discovered that he could make the engine out of aluminium, basically, to make the engine lighter. It was him that made the engine. I just kind of fell into that because apparently I looked a little bit like him. I had my hair cut really, really short, had a big bushy moustache. Yeah, so it was just a little small part in a documentary. Good fun though.
Este personaje, si tú lo sabes muy bien, fue el que creó, es el ingeniero que diseñó lo que le da velocidad a las aircraft. Y de hecho, esto también tuvo que ver, eso fue un documental en National Geographic, ¿no? Creo que si tú lo viste, te diste cuenta que se cortó el pelo para
Exacto.
ese rol, porque es
Y
igualito.
Y también creo que era filósofo, entonces eso era un buen dato también. También hay una serie que yo creo que tuviste antes, que es sobre la vida del pintor Luz Wayne. Entonces, acá tuvimos a Alejandro Pinzón, ¿sí? Que es pintor. Y entonces es la vida y obra de él, pero claro que la trama es sobre la esquizofrenia. Y lo que trataba eran gatos, distintos gatos. Por eso es que todos los gatos que se ven de todas las formas del mundo es gracias a este pintor. Entonces yo te pregunto sobre qué percepción tienes sobre la esquizofrenia en el cine y de su personaje, referente de los gatos y todo eso.
What is your vision about the schizophrenia, knowing that you acted on the electrical light for Louis Wan, this painter that painted the cats, but we know that he got that disease. So tell us, what is your vision about this character and this disease?
So my scene was, unfortunately, I believe, cut from that film, which is a real shame. So I played William Wayne, which was Louis Wayne's father, Quite actually, that was quite good fun. That my first day filming on that, I had to line a coffin all day in a church with Benedict Cumberbatch delivering my eulogy above my head. Every time they called cut, he'd walk down and tiggle me. So I'd be just lying in a coffin, sort of like giggling, which was really good fun. I don't think, if I remember correctly, Louis Wayne did actually have schizophrenia. I think he had a disease that is related that you can get from like from cats. It was a really good one to work on. I made the mistake. I'd never played dead before. I've always been alive in everything that I've done. I'd never played dead, and when they were rehearsing, the director said, "Just breathe very, very shallow. The camera won't see you breathing." And so we were rehearsing, and it went on for about 45 seconds. And I thought, I'll just hold my breath. If I can hold my breath that long, it'd be easier. So they called action, and I held my breath. And it got to the point where he would normally say cut, and he just went on and on and on and on and on. And it was like about a minute, and I'm still holding my breath, and it's gone beyond a minute. The girls on the front, they could see I was holding my breath, and one of them was like, "He's not breathing, is he?" So eventually, when they called cut, I was just like.
Maybe the disease is the toxoplasmosis.
Yes, I think. Yeah,
Yes.
I think I remember reading that actually it was that and not schizophrenia they had. It wasn't recognized at the time. I might be wrong. I'm happy to be corrected.
No, it's a great answer. Jhon, no era esquizofrenia, era toxoplasmosis. Lo que pasa es que en esa época no se conocía esa enfermedad. Y porque se contraía, tú sabes, de parte de los gatos.
Sí.
Aquí desafortunadamente se cortó las partes que él hacía, pero él aprendió acá cómo grabar muertes, aguantando la respiración, porque él de hecho era un personaje, creo que era el padre de uno de los protagonistas, donde incluso Benedict Cumberbatch estaba diseñando el ataúd de él en toda la película. Y él aprendió incluso a hacer los cortes de respiración y todo, pero pues no, lamentablemente cortaron la escena.
Bueno, pero al menos es una buena experiencia. Y no solo eso, también es sobre el hombre interior. Bueno, es la 4ª temporada. Hay muchas cosas referente a cómo eliminar el error 404, referente a nueva tecnología en una sociedad que está muy desactualizada. Entonces te pregunto sobre qué es lo que más disfrutó de todo este proceso, de la historia y eso, y qué recuerdo te llevas.
What memories do you got in the 4th season of The Inside Man? I don't know if you, what did you learn there? Tell us more about it.
So I only had one day on The Inside Man. It was a nice shoot. I had one day on it. I wasn't really sure what it was, and I was actually hired on that job just to do a bit of background. And I turned up, and they just said, "Right, here's the script, and that's your bit." And I was like, "Right, okay." So we get in there. So that was I believe it's the 4th season, isn't it? And it's like a cybersecurity thing. I don't know if you've seen it, and it's a cybersecurity teaching tool, which is apparently a much better way of teaching people rather than looking at a boring presentation of someone just flicking through a PowerPoint presentation or something. People are using drama more and more now as a training aid. I did one recently in Qatar for Interpol, where we it was a chemical meant to be a chemical attack. So they're using these methods now for training, drama for training, rather than just using PowerPoint presentations.
Jhon, aunque estuvo un día en el set, que por cierto le entregaron el guión de una, dice que este método que se usa en esta serie es el que están usando ahora para enseñarle a, por ejemplo, los técnicos que están en la guerra, pues sobre estos temas tan complejos, pues que dieron cuenta que la gente aprende más rápido con estas dramatizaciones que digamos como que yendo a clases. Por eso es el tema tan complejo.
Increíble. Hay 2 temas que sí son buenísimos, que se llama As Duel Fans, es un videojuego tiene que ver con la familia, pero es una familia que intenta ocultarse por un robo. Entonces, ¿qué es lo más significativo de experimentar algo de videojuego? Y también sobre Watchmaker, man, es una historia muy buena sobre la tecnología. Y te pregunto, ¿cuál es la tecnología que usted quiere ver en el mundo? Que diga, ah, mire, desde niño siempre he querido ver esto alguna vez.
Una por una.
Sí.
Tell us your experience working in the video game as Dust Falls.
As Dust Falls, I had no idea what to expect with that. Absolutely no idea. I'd never heard the game or anything. That was literally it was one day in a studio in London, and I turned up, and it's just it's my first experience. It was green screen all the way around with like a piece of wood on a trestle in the middle of the room, and they said, "Okay, stand there. You're a barman." And then they brought someone else in. They said, "You're a trucker," and they gave us a scene, and we have to act out the scene. So they film us acting out the scene, and then obviously they render it after that, and then they take the stills, they make it into stills, and then they paint over us, and then turn us into this video game. It was an interesting process.
Yeah, wow. I need to search for that video game because I love video games, and that's a really great process.
It's meant to be good.
Talking about the watchmaker, and Jhon got a question about technology. What is the invention that you want to see now in the world? Or what is your position about the technology? I think that's the question from Jhon.
What invention do I want to come to reality? What I'd like to see come to reality is the type of productions that they're doing now, that they're using as training tools. I think it would be really, really cool if they could incorporate that into virtual reality. So you can make a training film, but you could also you can step into that training film and experience it maybe alongside the people that are acting in it, so to be part of the process. Do you see what I mean? Making it's a little bit like the books that you used to get when you were a kid, and you could go to different parts of the book depending on what decision you made at the end of that page. It would be nice if you could step into a program in a virtual way and then choose where you're going to go, and depending on your decision, that's the way the story goes, and then at the end of it you've either passed or failed,
Jhon, el invento que desea ver es un uso de la realidad virtual donde la historia que tú estés observando, tú después puedas participar en ella y decidir hacia dónde tiene que ir la historia.
Eso sí es
y
bueno.
Sobre Dust Falls, él fue haciendo los personajes y después le estaba mostrando cómo el proceso del personaje que él hizo, que creo que era un bartender y después un conductor de camión, le mostraban justo el resultado de cómo iba quedando todo en ese videojuego.
Eso es increíble. Men, hay antes de hablar de Winnie the Pooh y todo eso, hay una producción que se llama Monsternado. Tú compartes pantalla con Simon Ellis, estuvo acá en el canal, y que también estará en la nueva de Winnie the Pooh. Pero primero, ¿cuál es tu relación profesional con él? ¿Qué proyectos se vienen con él? ¿Y qué vamos a esperar sobre este Monsternado?
We had in the show Simon Ellis. You acted with him in Monsternado, man. What we can expect from that movie, if you can say something.
It's like Sharknado on cocaine, I think, is imagine Sharknado, but that much bigger, that many more monsters. It's it's going to be an absolute monster fest, I think, if you like. It's going to be fun. That's going to be a fun movie.
I think it can compete with another movie that will premiere this year. It's called Cocaine Beer. So this will be like cocaine tornado. Yeah, Jhon, es como, Jhon, es Sharknado combinado con Cocaine Beer.
Uy, a Rubén le gustaría presenciar. Increíble, men. Bueno, hablemos sobre Winnie the Pooh, men. Hay algo que sí debo serte sincero. En Latinoamérica, más la afición por esta producción que la mismo Estados Unidos, Europa. Yo quiero saber sobre cuál es el recibimiento que te han dado los medios de acá, latinos, y también preguntarte sobre qué podemos esperar del personaje de Jhon.
Man, what we can expect from Jhon and Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, man. You had to tell us.
How much can I tell you? I don't know. I mean, it premiered, so actually it'd be showing in Mexico probably in a few hours' time, won't it? For there, it premiered last night. I don't know how much I can give away. It may end okay for Jhon. It was a good fun scene. I listened to what Simon. I think Simon was as nervous as I was about giving anything away because obviously it doesn't release properly until the 15th. I think the 15th of February. Johnny's bit of he's a bit of a hooligan. Do you know the word hooligan?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a bit, fancies
Brawler.
himself. He fancies himself. Yeah. And he wants to take on Pooh. It's as Reese said, it's the fight. Is this the final battle between Pooh and the public? So I won't tell you how he comes off, but actually it was quite funny when we were filming the scene. I don't know if you've seen the pictures. I'm walking along with a sledgehammer at the time. And and I had to swing it around at one point. And Craig, who plays Winnie the Pooh, actually hit him on the head. I wasn't meant to. I actually whacked him straight on the head with it. It was all right about it, thankfully. I didn't knock him out.
Jhon.
I nearly killed him.
Oh my God, you nearly killed Pooh, man. Okay, Jhon, hay aquí una especie como, pues no sé si spoiler, pero él es uno de los que lo batallan en la batalla final, por así decirlo. Él es una especie de hooligan. ¿Tú viste la escena del mazo? Hay un mazo.
Sí, el mazo gigante.
Un mazo. Sí. Él lo golpea con ese mazo, pero la cuestión es que el golpe es real.
Oh my God.
Casi mata al pobre Clyde, que es el actor. Obviamente no fue a propósito, pero casi mata al pobre Clyde, que es el actor que hace de Winnie Pooh, pero pues quedó exacto. Y que pues es gracioso, porque Simon está un poco más nervioso de revelar. Él dice que no, pues.
Sí, está más nervioso. Simon me dice, no te voy a revelar nada. Coméntale eso a Jase.
¿Tiene más preguntas? Porque yo tengo una pregunta.
Sí, dale.
Okay, before we end, because I got a question, I was reading your biography in IMDb. Man, I want to know more about your, because I really love the pawn scene in London and in Britain, and you were part from a pawn band. Tell us more about that.
Oh yeah, so I've been in bands all my life, really, and my cousin's a guitarist in a band called Wishbone Ash, who was like really big in the 70s, still touring now, still got a solid fan base. So I always wanted to be a musician. I was always in bands. The last band I was in was called the Skraelings. We played a lot of festivals. Before that, I was with another band called Unity in Division, played Glastonbury with them, played a few gigs there. I just love playing in bands. Sort of like a punky band, because you don't have to be a great musician to play punk. But then if everyone else is a good musician, then it just makes you sound great. So the guitarist was played with another band called Back to the Planet, who were quite big in the 90s. He's also playing with another band called RDF. I've had to knock that on the head a little bit now. I still record a little bit at home, but there's nothing like being in a band. I think that's why I started acting. I just like being up on stage and entertaining people.
Oh, but it's great to know, and I was curious. And yes, you are right. Simon was so nervous to spoil something about Winnie the Pooh, but no, man, it's one of the most weighted movies here in Latin America and all over the world. And Jhon, creo que felicitarlo, algo, lo que tú digas, un saludo.
Bravo. Jase.
It's been Winnie the Pooh has been an absolutely crazy ride. When I got the job as Jhon, I just seen an advert on an acting website, and it said looking for sort of like long haired bearded people for this scene in a film called Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. And I don't really use social media very much. As soon as I saw the title Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, I thought I'm having some of that. So I was like, I was straight at my keyboard. I want to be part of this. I had no idea it was going to go as crazy as it. I don't think anyone had any idea that it was going to go as crazy as this. But but there's more to look forward to now, isn't there? We've got Bambi to come as well, and Peter Pan. It's all good. It's all up from now.
Yeah, Jhon, es que cuando Jase vio la publicidad, él dijo, quiero entrar a ser parte de esa película como sea, pero él jamás se imaginó pues el impacto que tiene y lo que se viene, ¿no? Porque se vienen ahora las adaptaciones de Peter Pan y de Bambi.
Sí, y Y no, y está la de Grinch también, que estuvo David Thornton, man. Entonces son todas las adaptaciones, pero hay algo que sí te quiero preguntar. Esto sí da mi curiosidad ser fanboy. ¿Qué otro dibujo animado le gustaría que se representara el terror y diga, quiero ser parte también de ello?
And if another, I don't know, media like Toon or wherever it gets adapted, you told us about, of course, Peter Pan, Bambi, and in fact, we got the new Grinch here that is David Thornton, the one from Terrifier. But if there is like a new cartoon that you wanna add, like, oh, I really wanna be part of the adaptation of the bloody adaptation of this cartoon, would you wanna be?
Oh, I really don't know. I hadn't really thought about it, to tell you the truth. I hadn't really thought about it. I don't know. I'd need more time to think about that. I think there's certain things that that I would think leave alone. Let's leave Disney, Mickey Mouse alone. I think we've got to take him to the side. I think that might. We've upset enough people. We've upset enough people with Winnie the Pooh. I think Mickey Mouse might push it over the edge. I don't really know. I don't really know where I would go from here. The thing is so many of the Disney cartoons are based from the obviously the Grimm fairy tales, which when they were originally written were really dark. I mean, horrendously dark and violent with really strong morals. And it's Disney have just Disneyfied them and made them pretty and palatable for a family audience. So maybe let's do some more of the Grimm fairy tales, but how they were really meant to be told. People being forced to dance in burning metal shoes and stuff like that. That would be interesting.
Jhon, creo que tuviste un personaje, no lo voy a decir, pero para que no lo cierren, pero esto dice que no, que más que todo, que se tomen las adaptaciones reales de los cuentos de los hermanos Grimm,
Uy, sí.
como debe ser.
Lo considero, lo apoyo, man. No, eso es increíble, no. Jase, es tu espacio para sus redes sociales, saluda a Colombia, invita a la gente que vea Winnie the Pooh, Blood Honey. Bueno, la cámara es tuya.
Jase, the camera is yours. Tell your social media so people can follow you. Invite people from Colombia, Latin America, wherever, to watch Winnie Pooh, Blood and Honey. And go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So I'm looking forward to all of you guys seeing Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I hope you enjoy it. If you think it might offend you, or if you think you won't enjoy it, just don't go and see it, and then you won't have to complain to me afterwards about it, that I've scared you or I've ruined your childhood. Just don't go and see it. So if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at Jase Rivers 70. That we're always updating everything that's going on. When we know anything new, it updates there. Anything that I'm filming, I'll always update everyone. So yeah, come along, give me a follow, and come say hello.
Jhon dice que véanla, pero que si le arruina la infancia, que no le echen la culpa a él. Y que obvio, y que obviamente que lo sigan en las redes y todo.
No, men, dígale que la verdad estamos muy agradecidos por la oportunidad, por el espacio y que ojalá, es que la película va a ser muy referente acá en Latinoamérica, te van a amar, que te van a hacer muchas entrevistas.
No, y lo voy a decir la verdad, que ya salió en varios canales de cine acá.
¿Sí?
Man, what Johnny saying is true. A lot of channels that do reviews from movies in Mexico, Spain, they talk a lot about this movie. In fact, one of the ones that reviewed the trailer saw it and he got even like, oh my god, I was expecting that it don't come out well, but it come out well. So man, you know that this movie it will be big here in Latin America. Yeah. So thank you for being here, man. And
okay. Let me ask you a question. How has Winnie the Pooh become so popular in Latin America? Seem to have really embraced the idea of Winnie the Pooh more than anywhere else. It seems that Latin America just seems that it's like they bought into it and they really want it so badly. Why is that, do you think?
Well, I will tell about Colombia, the case of Colombia. And Jhon will help me. I will translate, will help me. Jhon, es que nos pregunta por qué pegó tanto Winnie Pooh acá en Latinoamérica. Yo dar mi respuesta y después tú dar la tuya. We are, Jhon and myself, we live in Cúcuta. Cúcuta is in the border with Venezuela. So we watch television from the channels from Venezuela, and they always air Winnie the Pooh. In fact, they call it Winnie the Pooh. But I know the translation of this this series was made in Mexico, so it was everywhere. Jhon, yo dije que porque nosotros veíamos los canales de Venezuela y siempre pasaba en Winnie the Pooh, pero obviamente la traducción fue hecha en México. ¿Cuál es tu respuesta? ¿Por qué crees que pegó tanto acá? O por yo creo también que por las chicas, ¿no?
Sí, de hecho, pegó tanto es por las reacciones que hacían la gente de acá, pues de Latinoamérica, se hacían muchas reseñas y también uno, pues desde niño viendo Winnie the Pooh tantas veces uno dice, ¿será que alguna vez Winnie the Pooh será malo? Entonces ahí es donde pegó eso. Entonces yo digo, pues Jase tiene la oportunidad de que más adelante tenga mucho más papeles importantes.
And it's crazy, man, because I got another theory. For that, earrings in the childhood, a lot of girls tend to buy stuff of Winnie Pooh. Fat is very popular with the women. And so it was always the theory from men, I don't want to see that series, it's too tender. But what will be happen if not this beard becomes a killer? So when that movie came out, it was what? But it's huge in Latin America, man. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Big,
So,
huge.
I'm glad.
oh yes. I hope a lot of people come to see that movie. Like the way the people went to see Terrifier. Terrifier become really a cult classic, and in Latin America, it's crazy. They started in a small cinema, and they came to Latin America, even in my small city. So I know in fact, I was watching, and Winnie Pooh, Blood and Honey will be premiere on our city, and it's on a small city on the cinema.
Brilliant. And this is great because this is a very, very low budget independent film. So for a low budget independent film to be able to be premiering in all of these cinemas all around the world is really, really good for independent cinema. And good for Jagged Edge Productions as well, who, they make a lot of films. They're going to hopefully get, sort of like bigger budgets for other films, but I hope it encourages more independent production companies to really to go for it and think outside the box and start making some really, really good content or some fun content. You don't have to like it, but just make some fun content, just make some stuff, make films.
And I hope that production company came to the channel.
Yeah.
Jhon, la dije, esperamos que los productores de Winnie the Pooh estén acá.
Claro que sí. Y no solo eso, por último, la ñapita. Si acá se reproduce, creo que acá en cine se va a reproducir, hacemos lo posible para enviar fotos, para que lo pueda compartir. ¿Es posible?
No, sí, obvio. No, Jhon was telling, but yeah, this movie, if it is true that this movie get premiere here in this small city, we will send you pictures. So don't worry.
For please do. Yeah, please do. Yeah. Brilliant.
Jhon, in fact, I will tell because Jhon don't know that I was reading that this movie will come out. Jhon, yo estaba leyendo en Royal Films, dijeron que va a venir la película.
Excelente. Entonces hay que estar pendiente. Jase, gracias por la oportunidad. God bless you. Good weekend. Good job, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. It's lovely talking to you guys.
Oh.
Finally.
Bye, man.
Bye.